Hi, I'm Paul McVeigh. Welcome to Wasted Lunch, the perfect place to waste your lunchtime. What's happening? Today is Thursday. Time is 12:01 Oven Standard. Here on Wasted Lunch, I'm getting flour on me. Kitchen table has lots of flour on it. My wife was up late working on bakery for a craft whatever show. Looks like Ricky's on here. What's up, Ricky? How's things? I'm getting flour on me right now. Yeah, getting flour on me. Ricky says, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you too, sir. I am just trying to avoid getting floury here, but I don't think it's going to work. Like I said, my wife's been making these gigantic cinnamon rolls that she's going to be selling at a craft show, goodie fair, whatever it is. There's going to be one at, of all places, and this is kind of interesting actually, I think, is it's going to be at a Sears in Belden Village is where it's taking place. Yeah, kind of weird. Ricky says, working hard, just got another promotion at work. Good for you. Right on, dude. Congratulations. Yeah, and Ricky, you knew I'd go back over that and read it, and here I will read it verbatim. Working hard, just got another promotion at work. And then Ricky, of course, fix that up. Promotion, LOL. Yeah. Yeah, I always catch that stuff, but I was being nice the first time I read it through because it's good news, and I don't want to be pooping on your parade, so to speak. So, yeah, but good for you. Sean, what's up? Looks like Sean's on here, too. I don't know why, guys. Usually what happens is when I'm on here, there on the screen, there's a little thingamajig, and it says, you know, the person's name who's watching. And today, it's not doing that. It brings up your little avatars, okay, on the corner of the screen, but it is not saying who is watching right at this moment. So, which, you know, that's not a big deal. What's up, Sean? Hello. It's not a big deal for you guys and gals that are, you know, kind of regulars, or who I recognize your icons. Okay, it's like Ricky's popped up. I'm like, okay, that's Ricky. Sean's popped up. I'm like, okay, that's Sean's. I know it. But if somebody new pops up, I'm not going to know who the heck it is until they actually type something on there. So, which kind of stinks, because it's nice if I see somebody's name on there, even if they haven't said anything, I can say, hello, you know, hi, what's going on? Let's see, Ricky says, I'm now in charge of sales, estimates, compliance, and construction and day-to-day activities. I will be working 24/7, 365. My life will be work and sleep. LOL. OM average, which I'm guessing you mean on average, it will be 60 to 90 hours a week. And Ricky, of course, corrected himself again. Good. And Ricky put on, LOL. All right, wow. Jeez, gee golly Bob. Wow. It's a lot of hours, dude. For some people, that's a healthy thing, though. You know, some people, well, 90 hours is a lot. But for some people, I can tell you what, being busy is definitely better than being idle, for sure. I know that because I have to keep on myself to keep on keeping on, and it can be tough. Pardon me. You know, a lot of people think, well, you know, all the time in the world to just do whatever, it'd be great. But that's not true. It's really not true. Having some direction and something to do and a reason for waking up every morning is very important. So, you know, you hear people, bag of cereal left out by one of my kids here. So, yeah, you know, people think, well, you know, I wish I didn't have to do anything. I could do whatever I wanted. But when you're in charge of your own time 100%, you don't have anybody to answer to, that's tough. But then again, working to where all you do is work and sleep, that's rough too. I've been there also. Let's see, Rick says, gonna have to fight to get game time in, let alone time to eat. LOL. I'm a fat guy. I can miss a few meals or 100. Well, I don't know about 100 meals. Maybe a couple, but yeah. Well, dude, sounds like you might be losing some weight with this new promotion. You know, the pluses are you're going to be making some money, you know. But you got to have time to spend that money, too, and enjoy a little bit of it. But, yeah, I hope everything works out great for you. Sean, are you doing pretty good today? I hope so. You know what? I'm going to try and put off the smoke for a few minutes and vape. Woo. Yeah. Sean, what's up with you, man? Sure. Are you over your stinking cold yet? I last night picked up a movie. Let's see. Rick says my wife will have no problem spending that money. LOL. Okay, so she'll make sure that money gets spent for you. Well, that's good. That's good. Sean says just got done sorting laundry. Man, seems like well, not every time, but Sean, you do a lot of laundry, I'm guessing, because I've caught you a few times, and that's what you were doing, laundry. So, you know, good for you, because I don't even know how the hell to do laundry. You know, I think I said before, I've helped my wife fold clothes before, you know, just something to do, and it comes out looking like some kind of satanic origami after I fold a shirt or something. Rick says, when you hit your vape, blow down first for a second, then inhale. It will hit smoother. All right, I'm going to try that. I think maybe that worked. Okay. Yeah, I think that did hit smoother. And, you know, another thing that makes it rougher for me, well, not that it makes it rougher for me, I make it rougher for me, is, you know, I am doing this off and on again, smoking, vaping thing. And when I go for a longer pause between vaping and I am just smoking and then I go back to vaping, then I'm like, Sean says, satanic origami, what the heck, LOL. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm not very good at folding clothes. It's just, I've done it before, you know, to kind of help my wife out, although maybe I'm not really helping her out, because, you know, she knows what she's doing in that department. I don't, but it's like, there's nothing for me to do, and she's doing laundry, or folding laundry. It's like, you know, hey, I can get over there and I can give my wife a hand, you know, doing some laundry. But like I said, maybe I'm not really helping her out because I'm not that good at it. I might be slowing her down, you know, but still it's the thought that counts, you know, it's the effort I put into it, but I am not very good at it. Rick says it's because the amount of smoke that produces when you vape versus hitting a cig. Yeah, well, I tell you, like I said, if I don't vape for a while and all I do is smoke and hit it, I mean, it is rough. Sean says, oh, I don't fold the clothes, I just put it in their bedroom. Okay. Alright, so Sean says, I fold the towels, so. Alright, well, you know, and that's another thing. My wife has a system for folding every kind of garment or bedclothes or laundry or bathroom laundry, whatever. And my thing is totally, I don't have a method. You know, my thing is, okay, I know I fold them and make them smaller. Okay, but they don't end up being like uniform or neat. And since I don't have a system per se, then I'll fold a towel one way, and then the next towel I'll fold another way. I'm kind of like, yeah, let's try this. That's kind of a fun way of folding, and oh no, I don't like this way of folding. So you've got 5, 6 towels in there, all folded different ways, which I don't know if it does bug. Teresa, she doesn't gripe about it at me. I think she kind of looks at me like a toddler helping her out. You know, oh, that's so cute. You're trying to help me. You have no idea what the hell you're doing, but you're trying, you know. Rick says, well, these estimates won't write themselves, so I must get my lazy ass back to work and get stuff done. Have a great day, y'all. All right, well, you have a good day, Rick, or have a great day, Ricky. And congratulations again on the promotion. Try and not work yourself to death. Try and make sure you get some you time, some decompression time in there. All right? Yeah. Shit. Yeah, clothes. That's, yeah, I remember when my wife and I first got together and first Christmas, and she's like, well, this and that, and we've got all these presents, and, we're gonna, you gotta find, you gotta schedule when you wrap presents when you got a bunch of kids in your house. You have to be strategic about it, because, they can't see you wrapping it. So, I remember her saying, okay, well, this and that night, we're going to be wrapping presents. Well, I forget how many hours or whatever to wrap presents. And I'm just like, hours wrapping presents? And I, oh my gosh, did not know what the heck I was doing wrapping presents. Had no clue. And boy, was it a mess. I remember one of the things I wrapped, the wrapping job I did looked like some kind of deformed paper puppet. I can't even remember what I was wrapping. If it was DVD or something, it turned out bizarre. But my wife taught me the technique for wrapping presents, even helped me wrap the unusual shaped things, because you always have weird shaped things to wrap, I always prefer the nice square things to wrap. It makes sense, but not all presents are like that. So you end up having to wrap some funky stuff. Sean says, about to heat up some Hot Pockets and give my mouth second-degree burns. Yeah. Yeah, those Hot Pockets are dangerous. Those things are dangaroos. I've got, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this rolling pin. Oh, shit. Look at that thing. It's marble, for crying out loud. Marble rolling pin. Yeah. And my wife did all this baking last night. She did all this baking after working, 8 hours. And then she comes home and works for more hours. So I, give many, many props to my wife for working as hard as she does. I'm going to try and move. I got a cutting board here. It's kind of messing with my flow. Gotta scoot that over. Let's see, Sean says, hey Paul, are you sure you don't want to play Truth or Dare with us? LOL. I am absolutely, positively certain I do not want to play Truth or Dare with you guys. In fact, you don't even have to take it personal because I don't want to play Truth or Dare with anybody. I know what kind of evils come about from that game, so I don't need any of that shit. Alright? I don't need it. I'm repositioning the camera. Got canisters of flour in the way. It's just, let's see. Sean says the chocolate killer has a cutting board. Ah! Oh my gosh. Yes, the chocolate killer. And I have my cutting board. Yes. That is what I do. During the day. At least I don't do it at night. That make it creepier. Sean says, my cat says hi. Alright, well, Sean, tell your cat hi. What is your cat's name, anyways? If you've mentioned your cat's name I'm sorry. My apologies to the cat. I do not recall the cat's name. Is this the same cat that almost... Sean says, LOL. Is this the same cat that was almost subjected to one of you guys' dares? Oh my gosh, that was terrible. That was yesterday, guys. Peaches. Okay. Well, hello, Peaches. Nice to talk to a cat. This is a poor cat that was almost subjected to a terrible dare. My gosh, these guys are horrible. You want to hear about these guys' terrible, Sean and Jonah and their friends' terrible Truth or Dare, watch yesterday's show. It even has an adult warning on it. Sean says, yeah, she was. She doesn't know about it. Well, good. Good for the cat. Save her that traumatic experience. She doesn't need to know about it. What she doesn't know won't hurt her. Which is true of a lot of stuff, I'll tell you. There's a lot of crap I wish I didn't know. But, yeah, that's life. Watched a movie last night that I have never seen before, guys. And I will tell you what, even this, I bought a movie at Walmart last night, okay? Went to Walmart with my wife and daughter to mainly get groceries and some things that we absolutely had to have. We were out of milk and some other things that we had to have. And got a movie, and if it weren't for, Sean says, was it a good movie? Well, I'm about to get to that. But first, the whole reason I'm explaining that the only reason I got the movie in the first place, okay, I would have never, ever bought this movie if it were not for a buddy of mine who has a YouTube channel, Nate Rambod, dude I've known for many years. He's got a YouTube channel and called I think it's That Nate Guy 2. It's on YouTube. And he does a show called Nate in the Morning, and he was talking about family-friendly Halloween movies the other day. And he was talking about them, and he was talking about his all-time favorite Halloween movies that he watches every single year. Well, one of his movies was one of the same movies that I love to see every year, if I get the chance anyways, because I don't own it, is It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, which I talked about the other day. Well, another movie on his list that I had never seen before, that I ended up seeing at the store, which made me think, oh my gosh, Nate was just talking about this on his channel, was a movie called Hocus Pocus. Alright? And I'm admitting it, I never would have bought the movie if Nate hadn't talked about it. Okay? So when I'm at the store and I'm looking at this movie and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get this movie, and damn it, Nate better be right. This movie better be good, or I'm going to be very upset with him. Well, not really, you know, but I'm going to be very disappointed. So I got this movie Hocus Pocus, which was produced by Disney. You know, was put out by Disney Films. It's a live action movie though, and it's about, you know, all I ever knew about it was about these three witches or whatever. And I never watched any of those witch movies from like the late '80s and early '90s, because there was like Witches, Witches of Eastwick, and Hocus Pocus. I never watched any of them. I figured those are chick flicks or something, you know, which Nate even talked about before he watched Hocus Pocus. He thought it'd be a girly film. Well, same thing here. I figured I don't need to watch these movies because they're going to be chick flicks or something. So, but Nate recommended it, highly recommended it, and talked about how great it was. So I went ahead and got it because it was like $5, and I'm always on the lookout for horror or Halloween films that are family friendly, okay, that aren't like Dora the Explorer Halloween, you know, not tiny little kid type movies. But so I got Hocus Pocus and watched it last night, and the verdict is it was an enjoyable movie for the family. Now, if you're a single dude out there, you might not get into it, but it was enjoyable. I believe I made a good purchase, so thank you for the suggestion, Nate. So, I watched Hocus Pocus. It turned out to be pretty good, and I think it'll be a good one to watch with the kids. I didn't watch it with the kids. It was just me, myself watching it. So, I don't know how the kids will like it. I think they'll enjoy it though. But, Sean says, have you seen the movie Halloween 3? It's the one with Michael Myers. No, I have not seen it. Have not seen that one yet. Which I'm trying to think. Did you say did you say something the other day about the movie? Did you see it? Didn't you see it, Sean? Didn't you see Halloween 3? I can't remember if doggone it, somebody said something about the movie. Whether or not okay, I can't remember if somebody told me in person that they were disappointed with it. Crap. I don't know if it was on Wasted Lunch or not. That's hard for me to figure out. Or wonder if it was my oldest daughter that went to see it. I can't remember. Okay, Sean says I have seen it. Okay, well, what's the scoop on it, dude? Is it worth watching? On a kind of 1 to 5 stars, what would you put it at? Was it or okay, or awesome? You know, what was your opinion on the movie? Since I'm obviously in the dark about it. And another, there was a movie I was supposed to be going to the theater to watch today, which my cousin was setting it up for kind of a birthday present for me, which was a super duper remastered version of Night of the Living Dead, and they were going to play it in theaters, but I didn't find out until today, which was the day that the movie was supposed to be showing. I just found out today that it is a no-go because it ended up not being featured at our local theater. So that was a bit of a bummer, but I appreciate that my cousin, you know, was trying to get us out to see the movie, but it didn't work out, and when he found out, he forgot to let me know. So I've been having this expectation building up that I'm going to go see Night of the Living Dead with my cousin in the theater, alright? So I've been having that build up in my mind, and it didn't happen. So, it was a letdown, but... See, Sean's, this is in reference to Halloween 3. Wait, is that what it's called, Sean? Let me see. Let me go back over that. Halloween 3, okay. Sean says, I think it is. I think because it did not feature Michael, it wasn't given much of a chance. If it was just called Season of a Witch, it would be talked about more than it is. Wait, you said it did not feature Michael. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just not paying attention to what you said earlier. Halloween 3, it's the one without Michael Myers. Okay, a Season of the Witch. Okay, was this like a total remake of the one with the Halloween masks? Was it a remake of that with the silver shamrock masks, or maybe it's called something different in this one? I don't know. You know what, to be honest with you, I don't even think I've seen a doggone preview for this movie that we're talking about right now. I don't think I've even seen a preview for this one. The last new Halloween movie I saw was them, showing, I don't know, somebody, Michael Myers' mask? Or is that the same movie we're talking about here? I don't know. I am confused here. Maybe you can enlighten me. Wow. Yeah, so this could be, let's see. And I don't have, at one time I had a secondary little phone. I could look up stuff while doing the show, and I do not know what happened to it. I put it on my desk, and it grew legs. Let's see. Sean says it was the one with the silver shamrock. I believe this one came out in, I believe, 83, but I could be wrong. It an oldie. Okay. So they remade that? Yeah, I remember the original movie, which I'll admit I've only seen it in its entirety one time, because, I wasn't jazzed because it wasn't Michael Myers in it, I'll admit. I was like, okay. Sean says it's not it. Okay. But yeah, I remember Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and it being like, I start watching it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? Because when I watched it, I did not see a preview before I watched it. I had no idea what it was going to be about, and so when I watched it, I'm like, what is going on here? There's no Michael Myers, and I was very thrown off by it. Not to say that there wasn't anything creepy about it, okay? There was, but it was kind of like they were just using the Halloween title to draw people in to watch it. Okay, Sean says they did not remake the Silver Shamrock. I am talking about the one that came out in the 80s. It's in the original series. Okay. Alright, I gotcha. Okay. I thought you were talking about a newer Halloween movie. A little misunderstanding there. Yeah, I haven't seen it, and to be honest with you, I would like to see it again. I'd like to give it a second try, although it'd be decades later giving it a second try, but that's how things go. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. I don't know if I'm prepared to go out and buy it, because every dollar I spend is usually pretty strategic. I almost felt guilty getting Hocus Pocus for $5 yesterday. because, you know, the money we spend, you know, is usually with much more of a purpose than, get another Halloween movie, you know. Pardon me. Sean says, I have not seen the new Halloween movie, but do plan on seeing it sometime in the future. Okay. Alright, well, if you see it, because chances are, dude, you're going to see it before I see it, because I have not been to the theater to watch a new film. I haven't been there for a long time. Alright, I have not been to the theater for quite some time. So, you're probably going to see it before I do, so make sure you let me know how it goes. I'm sure you'll let us know what you think of the film. Good, bad, or whatever. But, yeah. And I will admit that there were some of the Halloween movies that came out after Halloween 3 that I think I did miss. In fact, I'll also admit, I don't even, at this point in time, I don't even know how many Halloween movies there are. I am a big Michael Myers Halloween fan, but I am not a fan, like, to the point where I have to see every sequel. I am a huge fan of the original Halloween movie. That's not to say that I do not enjoy any of the sequels, but that is, you know, I thought the first one was fantastic, and really do not feel that any of the sequels will recreate the feeling I had watching the first Halloween movie as a kid, you know. And when I watched Halloween as a kid, you know, I did not see it in the theaters. I would have only been a couple years old. I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it on TV in an edited format, you know, without the nudity. Any of the swear words quieted down. So, Sean says, what was the last movie you saw in theaters? Oh my gosh, dude. It's been... Okay, now we're at the point where it's been so long that I'm not even sure. I'm trying to think if I... Wow, yeah, I'm not even sure what I saw in the theaters last. I can't even say, wow, this is sad. I can't even say if I remember who I was with when I saw my last movie. If it was with my wife or just my kids, I can't even remember that. Oh my gosh, terrible memory here. Terrible memory, yeah. That's sad. That's another one of them situations where I got to talk to my wife about something to remember it. She remembers all that stuff. You know, my wife remembers dates, remembers what people were wearing on certain dates. I'm like, Sean says, what was the name of your friend's channel? I believe it is That Nate Guy 2. All right. And with the title, yes, there is an original That Nate Guy on YouTube, but this is That Nate Guy 2 that I'm talking about now. His original That Nate Guy channel, I believe, deals with, and this might be interesting to you and some other people, has a lot of stuff, I believe, on urban exploration and abandoned buildings and things like that. And it has some stuff. Let's see, Sean put That Nate Guy 2. I'm pretty sure that's how he has it up there. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, I'm trying to think. If you see a dude who's, I think he's usually bald, and he's got goatee or beard, depending on what week, on there. And I think he's got a little cartoony drawing of himself on there. So, yeah. See, once again, somebody else pops up and their name isn't there. So if I don't say hello to you, don't get offended. I'm not sure who you are. But yeah, that Nate guy too has a couple different series, I guess you'd say, of videos. The one is Nate in the Morning, which I watch every morning. And it is generally a positive, short video segment, okay? And Nate will be talking about, I don't know, sometimes he's talking about breakfast. Sometimes he's talking about what he's planning on doing with his other videos. And then he has another series that he's doing on that channel, and it is called, oh my gosh, I don't know if it's called Barn Chasing, okay? But what it involves is he's going around into every county in Ohio, okay? Every county in Ohio had a bicentennial barn painted in, oh gosh, it's sad because I watched so many of the videos. I believe in 2003 was our bicentennial. Okay, but every county in Ohio has had a barn painted, a special painting on it with a commemoration or a, kind of a celebration of the Ohio's bicentennial. So he came up with the idea, hey, I am going to run around and I'm going to film every single bicentennial barn in Ohio, which equals out to 82 counties, 82 barns. So he has, taken on a very big goal, but like Nate is, like the dude he is, he gets it done, man. He's a hustler and he's a mover and he gets stuff done, and he's been to, oh gosh, I don't know, well over a dozen barns now, and they're cool videos. They're not super long. He edits them fantastically. Let's see, Sean says, I like urban exploration, especially if it's paranormal. I'm not so sure how much paranormal stuff there is in it, but it's a good channel. Both of them are good channels. That Nate guy, too, is more of a softer channel. It's a family-friendly channel. It's got mostly upbeat things in it. He does a lot of filming of himself going to parks, okay, because right now Nate is, well, he's been on the track to lose weight. He's been working on losing weight for a long time now, and he's been having success at it. And so a lot of the time he will go to parks and walk them, and he will bring his cameras along and film what he sees at the parks. So, but he edits them together so nicely, so many different shots put together. He does great presentations, okay, so it's well worth watching. I watch his videos, especially that Nate in the Morning. Watch that. That's kind of my pick-me-up in the morning. I watch that while I'm drinking my coffee. It's become part of my schedule because I want to wake up with positivity, okay? So that's why I watch that in the morning. So, but really good stuff. And like I said, he edits all of his videos. So it's got music in them and cool graphics, and it does a real good production on his videos, so it's worth checking into. Good channels. Then he had, which I think he still has it. It's a Skate Master Nate channel also, so which is about skateboarding. Surprise. Where he was doing, it was really cool because he was doing a skater diet, okay, and was filming himself out there skateboarding and losing weight, and that good stuff. So that was interesting, but I think that he had problems. He ended up hurting his leg bad, so the output of his videos for that slowed down majorly because he, had a bad injury. So, but yeah, so there I'm kind of, I don't know, I guess kind of plugging Nate's channel, but yeah, good stuff. But so yeah, going back to the Hocus Pocus thing, that's, he's the whole reason I ended up watching the Hocus Pocus movie. Which, like I said, yeah, I agree with him that it is a good family movie. It's about these witches from way back when in Salem that were put to death, and they made, there was some kind of like a pact thing or curse thing that if somebody lit this candle on a Halloween night, if a virgin lit this candle on Halloween night, they would be resurrected. And, of course, somebody does it, and they come back. And, and these witches, see, I thought before I watched that movie, the witches were going to be all cute and nice, I thought, they were going to end up helping kids in the movie or something like that, but was not the case. These witches were horrible. They were terrible. They were wanting to eat kids and stuff. So it turned out to be something like I said, I didn't really know much about the movie. I just heard Nate suggest it, and he was so emphatic about it being a good movie that I ended up watching it. I can't remember. There was another movie he suggested too that I haven't seen. But anyway, well, like I said, he suggested the Charlie Brown Halloween one, which, was already classic to me. And he talked about the Ichabod Crane one and Mr. Toad, which I haven't seen those in years. I'd like to see those again. But those were movies that he ends up watching every year. So, now at my house we have movies, Halloween movies, we watch every year. But admittedly, some of them are more adult-oriented Halloween movies that we watch every year. So, and not all of the kids watch them. Okay. Because they're not all kid-appropriate. The Fog is one of our annual Halloween movies. Speaking of John Carpenter, Sean said, sorry, it seems my power went out. Okay, well, that's what happened to you. You lost your power. Lost your power right at the wrong time of the day. Let's see, Sean said, for a split second. Okay. Well, yeah, but it's an interesting topic, though, that he brought up, which was the Halloween movies that, he's got to watch every year, because there's a Halloween movie that I need to get on DVD that would definitely be one of my yearly ones, and that would be a movie. Another one that was put out by Disney, which is Something Wicked This Way Comes. Okay? It's based on a Ray Bradbury story. Okay, and I loved Ray Bradbury stories. Well, I still love Ray Bradbury stories, but he's no longer with us. But he passed away just a year or two ago, I think. But I'll tell you, Something Wicked This Way Comes is... I'm pretty sure it's PG, but it is really on the border line for what kids should watch. Really, it's one of those movies where you got to know your kids and you got to watch a movie first. You can't just... Something Wicked This Way Comes might be PG, but it's still not something you can assume is going to be great for the whole family to watch, because it truly has some really creepy, somewhat terrifying elements in it that younger kids, a lot of younger kids, I think it would be bad for them. So, it depends on the kids. Sean says, kind of like Gremlins. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because, yeah, Gremlins, PG movie, big blockbuster movie, but definitely there were some things in Gremlins that were not kid friendly at all. The microwave gremlin, that was nasty. One of the gremlins, what's his name, Billy Peltzer, Mrs. Peltzer ends up stabbing with a kitchen knife. Bad, and what I think was worse than those acts of violence in the movie for kids was actually when I think his name's Billy Peltzer. Sean says if it came out today, it would be PG-13 probably, and I think that sometimes the bigger directors kind of getting away with a little more gruesomeness in their movies and keeping their ratings down. I don't know. Maybe there's nothing to that. It's just Steven Spielberg pulled off some pretty gruesome shit in Raiders of the Lost Ark and still kept it PG, which I don't know how he did that with the guy's face melting off. And then that was in Poltergeist too. There was some gruesome shit in that, and that was only PG. But back to Gremlins, the scene that I really think would be traumatic for kids is where I can't remember the character's name, but I think the boy's name is Billy Peltzer in it, and his co-worker, the girl, the pretty young lady that he works with at the bank, tells a story about how her dad got trapped in the chimney on Christmas and died. That would have been, that is the worst part of that movie for kids. Absolutely. Way worse than any of the violent effects that took place in it, I believe. Sean says, did you know the director of Texas Chainsaw Massacre wanted it to be a PG rating? Yes, I did know that. I've read about that and thought, what the heck was he thinking? What in the world was he thinking? And there, I'll tell you what, Texas Chainsaw it's a bizarre movie if you look at it objectively, very objectively. Okay, you will notice that in reality, okay, as far as gruesomeness, as far as actual bloodletting, okay, there wasn't, okay, it was not like on the level of Dead Alive or Evil Dead or something like that at all. But the whole story and the production design of it and everything was so horrible and everything that, they could have taken out most of the violent scenes and it still should have been given an R. Just it was that kind of movie where that it wasn't necessarily the most graphic, but the things that happened in it, they did it in such a way that when somebody would get killed, that they didn't show everything, but they would, your mind would fill in the blanks and make it very horrible. Sean says, put have in that sentence. Let me see what sentence. He said, did you know the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wanted it to be a PG rating? And you said, put have in that sentence. Okay, wanted to have a PG rating instead of wanted it to a PG rating. Nice correction there. Sean says he also thought he was making a comedy. Well, if he thought he was making a comedy, he failed on all levels. There was nothing comical about it. Well, there was when when the shopkeeper was yelling at Leatherface about what he did to the house. That was kind of funny, but other than that, yeah, there's not much comical at all about that movie. So I did not hear that before. So comedy, Texas Chainsaw Massacre comedy, no. Now the second one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now that was a bit of a comedy. That was kind of almost was sort of making fun of the first movie in a way. That had a lot of humorous stuff in it. Okay. The second one, where the Sawyers are in some big chili competition, and there was a lot of humorous elements in there. Dennis Hopper's character was completely silly and funny. So the second one, I do believe was a horror comedy, but the first one, they definitely didn't market it as a comedy either. I think some of the posters said something. If anyone, if someone survives, what will be left of them, or something like that. And I think they even did keep repeating it's only a movie thing on some of their advertising spots for it. I think. I could be wrong on that one. But it was not advertised as a comedy either. But, yeah. It's funny, though. We're talking about ratings and Poltergeist. My goodness. Sean said, yeah, he's the worst comedy director ever. Yeah, for certain, dude. For sure. Yeah, talking about ratings, man. Poltergeist, yeah. PG rating. My gosh, I'm almost certain it had a PG rating. And it's like, how in the hell did they pull that one off? Because it... yeah, there's no nudity. Swearing is a minimum, okay, but the story and some of the special effect things that happen, like when the guy goes into the bathroom and tears his face off looking in the mirror, that was totally rated R moment right there, completely. All right, so. Yeah, very gruesome. But the movie I was mentioning earlier, Something Wicked This Way Comes, it has some effects in it that are not bloody, but they are frightening, Sean says he probably presented it as a comedy to the MPAA, and they told him otherwise. Maybe that's why he never marketed it to the general public as a comedy. Maybe you're right, Sean. Maybe he did try and say that to get a lower, that PG rating he wanted. Tried to say that. But I know if I was part of the board or whoever watches those, I would have been like, your PG rating is not happening, sir. But, yeah, it is funny because it was not the bloodiest movie, but the feel and the intent, I don't know how to put it, was there. That Sean says, I don't think anybody thought it was funny. No, I don't think so either. Especially then when it came out. And that's, but, that farmhouse, their house with all those bones everywhere and body parts nailed or tied to the furniture and stuff. It was just so gruesomely, that family was so misanthropic and crazy, okay? And that kind of stuff now you see in all kinds of horror films, okay? After, decades afterwards, that kind of shit has become commonplace, like the Wrong Turn movies, and stuff like that. I mean, just showing these really nasty, funky places that these wackos live in. That's a big part of horror flicks now. But it wasn't necessarily when Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out. Sean says, wasn't it heavily protested? That I do not know. I'm not sure if there was a big stink about the movie. And you know what happens if there was. What happens a lot of the times if there are protests over films, a lot of the times it actually helps the movies. Gets them more publicity they wouldn't have had otherwise. There's been a lot of low-budget movies that, over the years, that most people would not have heard of if there weren't protests over them. In fact, there have been movies that have been made, and the makers of the film have actually started fake protests and started controversy over their film on purpose to get more publicity, because a lot of these low-budget movies, especially back in the days, most of the advertising and stuff, most of the reason people saw them were because of word of mouth. So any publicity is good publicity, so you get some parents group or moms against these movies, and they end up getting on the news, and then all of a sudden your little low budget picture, okay, is all of a sudden a big deal. I mean, you never would have gotten on the news before for that. So these movies back in the 70s and stuff played in what they call grindhouse theaters, like in cities like New York City, that had these late night movie theaters that played all these bizarre low budget films, and there wouldn't be much advertising campaigns for them, and or there wouldn't be much money spent on the getting the word out, and a lot of it would be word of mouth. Somebody would see it and say, hey, watch this movie. Sean says, I also think The Exorcist was protested as well. Once again, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised, though. Especially considering, and to me it's controversial, is that they had a kid playing that role, that some very freaky and foul things were involved, and this child was acting in this movie doing some foul things in the movie, like with the cross, the crucifix thing, and that thing. It's like, yeah, I could understand people protesting it. Didn't keep me from watching that movie more than a few times, though. But I could see where that would come from, because that's a real touchy subject, is having kids play parts in movies where they are doing adult type things and vulgar things. That's really shaky ground there, and that's where stuff like laws come in. Like, okay, how far are these people allowed to let these kids act? What kind of things? It's like movies where kids are swearing and using lots of obscenity. That's another thing that's I've always had questions about that. I mean, you got little kids cussing and stuff in the movies, and is that good for these little kids to be doing that? You know, and that's, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely room to argue about things for sure. But, you know, and people can say, well, you know, these kids' parents consented to it, but, you know, I don't know. It's definitely a topic of debate for sure. Definitely. But Exorcist, yeah, that really pushed boundaries of, you know, my opinion as to how far are they allowed to go with child acting. Sean says, I heard 2 actors died in post-production. Yeah, I'm trying to think. The one actor, can't think of his damn name. I know the part he plays. He's a friend of the mom's, and he ended up passing away. I don't know what happened, natural causes or whatever. I don't know about the second case of it. Sean says, I wouldn't consent any of my future daughters to play in a similar role like that. Yeah, and I thought that when watching the movie. I'm like, who in the hell would let their kid, ouch, who in the hell would let their kid do something, act that in a movie? Sean says, I really need to proofread. No, that's all right if you make a mistake. Get the general gist of it. But, yeah, that's one thing I'm like, I wouldn't let my kid do that part. And I don't know what the laws are considering those things. I mean, obviously there are illegal things, you know, that people cannot have kids do and should not. I just don't know if they extend to obscenity, like when you're talking about swearing and stuff. I don't know. But Sean says shooting was also delayed because the set was caught on fire. That's interesting. I didn't hear about that. Wow. You know, now you can Google this or whatever, because it's been, oh gosh, let me see, probably over 25 years ago since I even looked at this book one time, but I believe that Rick Baker was involved in some of that makeup for Reagan on that, and I think that he made his wife up as her for Halloween one time. Could be wrong here, guys. I'm just, you know, Rick Baker, fantastic makeup artist, but I'm pretty sure he worked on that movie. But a fantastic makeup artist. And he was, you know, makeup artist following the earlier generation of makeup artists, which, you know, one of the kings of makeup right before Rick Baker's time would have been Dick Smith. Just a fantastic special effects makeup artist. Dick Smith, and then Rick Baker. And then another guy who I think studied under Rick Baker was Rob Bottin, who's done some really badass work too. Sean says, yes, Baker did work on The Exorcist. Okay. Well, I believe he kind of redid the makeup that he did on Linda Blair. I think he did them on his wife for fun one time. I think it was for Halloween or something. But yeah, I believe Rob Bottin studied under Rick Baker for a while, which is interesting because Rob Bottin and Rick Baker both ended up working on werewolf movies about the same time, I believe. One was working on, okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay. One was working on, I think, Silver Bullet, or was it? I'm trying to think if it was Silver Bullet. And then the other was working on, I think Rick Baker was working on American Werewolf in London. Okay. So, I don't know. The American Werewolf in London was one of the movies. I think Rick Baker worked on that one, I think. I could have the makeup effects guys backwards, though. And I think the other one was Silver Bullet or Wolfen or something shit like that. But it's funny because they both ended up doing werewolf movies, so very interesting. I don't recall the other movie, which, as you hear, I'm not even 100% sure which one it was, but I do remember American Werewolf in London and the werewolf transformation scene, and I remember watching that as a kid and thinking, wow, this is one of the most amazing things I have ever seen. Was this werewolf makeup. I was just like, wow, and the whole transformation, his back started arching up, and his hands started stretching out, becoming like claws, and dude's face ended up stretching out and becoming like a wolf snout. Awesome stuff. Great makeup. But well worth watching. But look that up if you're interested in that. But yeah, Rob Bottin also did makeup effects for Total Recall, and also did them for this special effects masterpiece movie, and that was The Thing, done by John Carpenter. And shit, sorry, can't remember what year it was made. 83 maybe? Not 100% sure, but The Thing by John Carpenter's The Thing. Okay. Which was special effects laden, and Rob Bottin worked on that and had some beautiful special effects in there. And of course, that was pre-computer. Okay, that was pre-digital special effects. So that means what you're watching is, honest to God, three-dimensional makeup. Sean says The Thing was awesome. Yeah, it is. It is one of my all-time favorite horror flicks. I love the movie, and it's not just the special effects; it's the paranoia that comes with the movie. You know, you got all these dudes. They're isolated. They're in Antarctica, for crying out loud. They're in this small base. They don't know which one of the other crew members could actually be the Thing. You know, they're not trusting each other. It's very claustrophobic because, you know, you can't just run around out there in the middle of the night in Antarctica with snow blowing and everything. And great movie. That is definitely high up on my list, which, like I said, I don't have a list, literally a list, but if I did, it would be high up on that list. We'll just put it that way. So, somebody else is watching. I'm sorry, I can't tell who it is because it's not telling me who you are. But I see your avatar, and I'm just not sure who it is. But hello. We're talking about some scary movies here. But yeah, The Thing was fantastic. One of my favorites there. And yet another John Carpenter movie with Kurt Russell in it. And, oh my gosh, I always get his name mixed up. David Keith or Keith David, I cannot remember. Because there are two actors. One is Keith David and one is David Keith. I'm thinking that the man in The Thing was David Keith, but I'm not 100% sure. I always mix those two guys up because their names are practically the same, only mismatched, you know, one before the other. But dude was also in another John Carpenter movie called They Live, which I really liked that one too, and that starred him, and Roddy Piper was in that movie. And I'm not even going to go into explaining that movie, but if you haven't seen They Live, you need to see that movie, period. You need to go out and see it. But, you know, Kurt Russell was also in a couple John Carpenter movies, and I like them too. His Escape from New York, and also he was in Big Trouble in Little China, which, really cool show, really cool picture. Just a little more John Carpenter movies, and so yeah, there's actually been quite a few John Carpenter pictures that I have enjoyed. Let's see. Sean says Escape from New York. Yep. Good old Kurt Russell in there. And with another Carpenter favorite, and that is Adrienne Barbeau is in there. And let's see. Sean says, well, at least we were both thinking it, yeah. And Adrienne Barbeau, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you even know, her and John Carpenter had a thing. I think they were married at one time. I think so. Sean says, I never did heat up those Hot Pockets. Oh boy, you're starving now. You're starving now. You really are wasting your lunch with me. My goodness. My feet are slipping all over the floor because of this flour. All this flour is making my feet slip on the floor, which is not good because I am going to have to be treadmilling. You know, that's part of my daily thing too. I've got to make my big butt get up there on the treadmill and do my 20 minutes of treadmilling. It might not sound like much, but it's something, you know. It is something to make sure I'm doing something physical every day, you know. Sean asks, have you seen Escape from L.A.? No, I have not. That is a movie I have wanted to see for years. I need to see it. I don't even know if John Carpenter directed that one or not. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I need to see it. I liked Escape from New York, so yeah. So the question is, Paul, why haven't you seen Escape from L.A.? It's not new. It's been out for years. And the answer is, I don't know what to tell you, but I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. But I want to see it, so I need to put that on my list of to watch soon movies. Escape from L.A. Let's see. Okay, Sean says Carpenter did direct it. Okay, cool. Well, as you can tell, I'm a John Carpenter fan. I'm not going to say every single movie he ever made was fantastic, because I think John Carpenter, just like any director, just like any writer, just like any artist, makes some stinkers. You know? I mean, it's true. You know, you can be really good at something and put out lots of great work, but every now and then something's not going to be up to par with your main body of work. I mean, that's just how it is. We're humans, human beings, and we just don't always end up with hits all the time. I mean, you gotta make mistakes, I guess. And that's part of learning. But like John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, you know, my wife and I tried watching that a month or so ago, and it was, as I remembered seeing it years ago, it was just so boring. Oh crap. Sean says, I just read that Deborah Hill, who did many movies with John Carpenter, died in 2005 at just 54 years old. Oh yeah, she did, yeah, Deborah Hill did do lots of work with John Carpenter. And that's a shame. Another person who had their beginnings with John Carpenter was, oh my gosh, I can't remember his first name. Is it John? Is it? No, Dan O'Bannon. Dan O'Bannon, who was in one of John Carpenter's first movies that was partially made while he was in college, and that is Dark Star. Dan O'Bannon ended up going on to be a very famous screenwriter. I believe he worked on the first Alien movie, and seemed like an all-around awesome guy in real life. A very funny guy. Any interview I ever saw of Dan O'Bannon just seemed like a really likable, funny dude. And he passed away, but that wasn't recently. That was quite a few years back too. But I remember when the news came out. I was sad. I was upset by it. Let's see. Sean says, I think Carpenter is in his 70s. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. I think you're right. And he's still skinny. He's one of those people who never put on weight as they got older. You know, most of us chub out, but some of us, very few, select few of us end up staying skinny, and he's one of them. Let's see, time is 1:17 oven standard, so it is getting to where I have to wrap this up, unfortunately, because I'm having a good time. Talk about these movies. I'm having a real good time, but like I said, I gotta put down my smokes, put down my phone, my camera, and phone, and I gotta make myself, see, you know, I'll admit, I have to make myself go and get on that treadmill. It's just, you know, and that's one of the things I have to do. So, I gotta go make myself get on the treadmill. But Sean says, have a good day, Paul. Sean, you have a great day too, buddy. Thank you for hopping on and participating. I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, but sure, you know, especially if you plug in tomorrow, we're going to find something interesting to talk about. Probably going to watch a movie tonight that I've watched before and end up talking about it tomorrow. I'll let you know about that when the time comes. But I had a great time talking, and I appreciate you participating, and Rick, and anybody else who's watched. Thank you very much. I want you guys all to do a favor and take care of yourselves out there, and try and enjoy life as much as possible, and look out for your fellow brothers and sisters out there. And I'll be back on tomorrow, noon-ish, to do Wasted Lunch all over again. So, you know, if you guys are watching this and have not participated, try and get on here around noontime. Participate. Hop in. Do not be afraid to, you know, textify or comment or whatever it is. Don't be afraid to hop in there and say something, guys, and hop in on the conversation. Everybody's welcome. And it's fun. So try that. All right. Well, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye.